All right, we're back. Another episode. My best friend, Frankie V. Thanks for joining, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Good to be back.
It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and we're going to talk about some of our loved ones today. No, it's not our wives, it's our lovely dogs. So, how do you feel about that, Frank?
Excited. I think I've been planning for this, been dreaming about this recording. Can't wait.
How could you not? We talked about how we've ever since we've gotten dogs, we've learned a lot about ourselves, but also lessons from them. And there's some key, I feel like, life lessons that we all can take in, especially from a dog who is just simply God's gift to us. So I think that's what Frank and I would love to talk about. But before we do that, Frank was challenged to play video games more, to have more him time on the last climb. I think we went well over enough time to get a sample size. Have you actually dug into any video games lately?
I have. I'm currently big into Baldur's Gate,
Okay.
but I think the bigger picture here is I am since I've, it's been a while, but since we last spoke, I've put a put a lot of energy into you know working back on myself. I know the last time we spoke, it had been the tail end of a rough period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been rather refreshing, if I'm being honest. I've been spending a lot of time with Kelly, my wife, and just my video games, and really just trying to appreciate the unwind. I actually think last time we spoke, I've been trying to be more. Sounds really silly actually when I say this out loud, but more intentional about when I'm actually playing video games to like understand it's not like the purpose isn't just to do it. It's actually it can be really beneficial if I allow myself to just like relax and unwind, and it's been good.
Totally. No,
Yeah.
yeah, we got a lot of feedback from your podcast of how you physically didn't look well, and I can't wait for those people to see you now. You know?
I was pretty sickly.
It is funny. You look completely normal, but you did have like your glasses on. It was like, I think we did it at night, and you had like,
Yeah.
maybe it was colder, so you had like maybe a sweater or something of this nature. Now you just look great, ready for spring. Maybe a little sun in your face, like a lot different than.
Yeah.
So it physically looks like you're just doing fantastic.
Yeah. I credit 90% of that to the webcam, but it's
There you go.
I'll take the spring sunlight as well.
Production. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if, like, because have you seen, like, I don't know if it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram, but you see like those people take normal pictures and then AI turns it into a business headshot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, crazy, right? So like, one, that's crazy. Probably should look into it. Actually, I think I tried.
I've been telling Kelly I actually need a new headshot, and I was like, well, we should just do this.
Yeah. So take that concept, make that concept an AI webcam. Like, you can wear whatever, like a t-shirt, like whatever, a hat, and it just does your hair. It puts you in a nice, like, outfit. Like, can you imagine if that was like what webcams are going to be? They're just like complete fake. Uh, you
I
know,
think it is. I mean, I can't imagine it. I mean, I can imagine it, but it's unbelievable. But yeah, that's gonna be webcams in like 5 years.
yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
accurate there. So, all right, let's get into the topic at hand. Lessons we've learned from our dogs.
Mm,
Why don't I think he's made an appearance a few times? So why don't we focus a little bit on your lovely dog Tuffy, and just
uh,
tell us a little bit about that wonderful dog. That's no longer in the office because we were chatting too long and
Yeah,
she
sweet
got
Tuffy.
impatient.
So yeah, she. I don't know if I can get her to make an appearance. She's long gone. For some background for anyone listening, Tuffy is a just over 1 years old. She's a border collie golden doodle. Emphasis on the border collie. So sitting still in one room where she can't see anything like this office is not her idea of comfortable. So it was a long shot that she'd be able to sit here for this whole thing and I'd be able to show her on camera. But maybe toward the end, I can lure her back up here with some treats. But so yeah, she is a little ball of energy. She's adorable. I love her dearly, but only a year old. So actually, I'm excited to get into these lessons because I think maybe ours are going to be a little bit different because mine are very fresh, like a year into dog ownership, still young, still kind of at the tail end of the puppy phase. So it's
I
mine
had
are a little bit
multiple
different.
I had multiple people tell me, "Oh, don't worry. This is just cuz he's young." Not a thing. Not a thing. I know that doesn't help you, but Rover's, I think 3 are going to be 4. He is still, when I love him for who he is. But for those people who are like, "Oh, it's just a phase." May not be. It may not be.
I need to give anybody listening who has a young dog or a puppy, I want to give some validation here because I remember right before we got Tuffy, we must have asked dozens of family, friends, everyone that we know that has a dog. And everyone just somehow forgets what like the puppy phase was like. Everyone's just like, oh, it's great. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but it'll be fine. Everyone blocks that part of their, of the history of the dog out of their mind. It's a
Mhm.
lot. I'm there to tell you, it's a lot. It's great. It's a blessing, but it's validate that it's a lot.
Yeah, it's
A lot of
almost
lessons to
like,
be learned.
yeah, it's almost like the old narrative of like, get a dog before you have a kid. And I don't want to compare the two, but it's certainly a commitment, and but a commitment that's worthwhile. So, um, I'll say this, starting us off. I got a golden retriever named Rover. He's laying right here. He's passed out. And one thing that he constantly reminds me of is to smile. The guy is constantly smiling, and it makes you feel, kind of, more in place when you're looking at it, as simple as that. To just be happy, to smile. His happiest time of the day is being outside, which is crazy because it's not much to it, but he loves it. And I think that's something, everyone can kind of learn from.
I love that. I agree with that. I will add to that because one of mine was about kind of shaking off the negativity. I think for my sweet little girl, AJ, you're aware of, but she loves just about everything, but is a little scared of cars. She doesn't love cars, so walking is a little bit tough with her. She's a little bit afraid of cars, but it's so funny when she does like, anything that scares her. Like you're saying, it's like it's so, or even when she's like upset or she gets annoyed at something, just like the smallest. It's so simple. It's just yeah, go outside, play with a toy, food, and like those three are just immediately turns her day. She could go 0 to 100 in a blink of an eye of just like being the happiest dog on planet Earth. Which I think that's something. There's something we learn there. Like you're saying, it's like there's it's like don't sweat the bad stuff. Just kind of move on. Appreciate the good stuff.
I had that on my list too. Actually, I have it written down as like having a short term memory. Um,
Good way of putting it.
could, yeah. Have you ever seen Ted Lasso?
Oh
Right?
yeah,
You have?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, of course you have. The goldfish analogy, right?
yeah.
Of like, be like a goldfish, like
You
they
goldfish.
they forget something. I swear, like golden retriever brains the same way. Like,
Yeah. That's a good segue into my one of my next. I'm looking at my things I've written down here. One of my next things was kind of around like the greetings. Was the like appreciating loved ones. It was like the door greeting, right? You walk in, she's always excited. She's always running up to us to see me, Kelly, even when we have friends, family over. And I think that's kind of interesting. I think that like a lot of that could get taken for granted sometimes. Like I think back before we had a dog, if I were gone or Kelly was gone, and they come in, it's always just like, oh hey yeah, how's the store? Okay, good. It's just like kind of gets casual. I think there's like something special about it. It's like a reminder of like oh, you're back. yes, like you're like one of my people. It's like this is so exciting. Like this is meaningful. I think getting Tuffy was probably one of the best things that could have happened for me for a multiple reasons, and we'll get into that. But one of the main one being it really forced me to grow and to mature and to become at least more of like the man that I would want to be and strive to be.
All right, we're back. Technical issues. That is my fault. Had them last week. Thought I addressed them. I was wrong. So, Frank, where we left off in our conversation, and I don't need these headphones anymore because, frankly, I can't hear anything. Um, where we left off was coffee was one of the best things that could ever happen to you, and you were gonna go into reasons of why.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess first and foremost, accountability. I think something at the time. So we're talking a year ago. Just gotten Kelly and I just got married. We just moved into a new house. Um, Things were great. Like I mean, our lives were great, but I think there was a what I had realized after getting Tuffy was there was just a real lack of accountability for myself that just ended up that was the result of years, say probably like since COVID, of just not really having reasons to have structure, a lot of freedoms. Again, I like it's similar to what I was saying before. Not that I was really lost my way or that I was really dogging around anywhere, but I mean ultimately it was just I had a lot of margin in my life of free time and flexibility, and I think that forced it just created some really poor reinforced some really poor habits for myself of not getting up early, not planning out my weeks, my days, and just kind of reacting and being very in the moment. And sometimes in the moment is good, but you're talking about day to day and like trying to be like a responsible adult. In the moment isn't always really that great. I've come to learn that. So something that I think what it was just like a cold shower with Tuffy was
There
she
she is. She's
what
making an appearance.
I didn't say can you hear her? She heard her name. Um, so something that was like a cold shower with Tuffy was immediately your accountability. Like you are now responsible for a little puppy, and your timing, whatever your plans are, need to now involve.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was something that both Kelly and I like, immediately felt with that shock of whoa, like we knew this was going to be a lot of work, but all of a sudden it's not as easy as just let's run to the grocery store because we feel like it, or let's do this because whatever we feel like it. So it forced a lot more structure, and I think that was something like getting I mentioned getting up early, like the I always consider I was saying this to you earlier. I've always considered myself a morning guy. I all growing up was always whether it was swim practice, lifeguarding, was always getting up early for whatever reason. All through college, it was a that was when I preferred to do my studying or my homework was nice and early when everything was quiet. But then, even through my young adulthood, commuting, you got to get up, you got to shower, you got to get hit on the road because you have an hour of traffic to sit in. But come COVID and you have the remote work and a lot more flexibility, which there's obviously you've talked a lot. There's tons of positives from all that. They're 100%. We've also talked about the structure, and I think there was just no. I found myself really with so much flexibility, kind of floundering and not really having that level of accountability. So getting up early, planning, like really thinking through what do I want to do this week? How can I help Kelly with things? How can I help Tuffy with things? So I'm gonna get ahead of myself here. But what I said was, how does this make me a better husband? How does it make me a better man? For that reason, right? Like I'm now thinking it's forced me to really try and get better at thinking through, okay, Tuffy needs XYZ. how are we? What's the plan for this week? How's she going to get these things?
Yep.
If and that helps. That helps with everything, right? So with Kelly too. Come here.
She
Sorry,
makes parents.
Tuffy. Come here. Can we show it? Can we show the people? Come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah. Look. Can you look up at the camera? There she is. Hello. Can you look up at the
Hi, Coffee.
Tuffy? Is it Uncle AJ? Okay.
Oh, what an appearance! Our second canine on the climb.
Okay.
Rover's too
Sorry.
scared. Hello.
So now she's here. But anyway, so yeah, so just it's helped me really be accountable for something else other than myself, and it's just given me structure in my own life and in my relationship with Kelly. That's still a work in progress. Like we're only a year into it, and things change as Tuffy's needs change and our life circumstance changes. But it's been so beneficial for me and my mental just health. My mental health really it's just given me like a purpose and a foundation and just feel so much I just feel so much better. Yeah.
Purpose was on the tip of my tongue to say. It sounds like it's giving you a lot of purpose, but you
Yeah.
came to that conclusion. And I think one, right? I think this is what you sign up for when you get a dog, and it's, I guess, like, you think, one, it's going to be manageable, like you could handle it. You wouldn't get it if you wouldn't think so. You wouldn't get one if you didn't think so.
Yeah.
But I think the reward is much, much, much bigger than anyone can ever contemplate.
Mhm.
At least in our situations. For instance, Rover was X amount of dollars, and I say I would spend 10 times the amount for him, knowing that what I have now and how much he makes me feel. And I do think this is going to be humorous to some new parents around, because it's like, hey, wait till you have a kid. But there is a sense that people are trying to grow together, like you and Kelly, Christina and I, like, hey, this is the next step, is for us to get, see how it goes. And of course, us men are sold on that it will equal partnership with walks, even though that is not the case. Uh, um, but I really appreciate um I appreciate what you say, because I'm just talked to Christina about this one part of how I'm going to try to finish my book, and it's called The Difference Maker. And the difference maker for me, and I have added to it a section about Christina. Don't worry about the barking; it's fine.
Sorry.
It's a pod,
We're talking about dogs.
it's a podcast about dogs. If they're not willing to have barking in it, then I don't think they should be listening. Um, Anywho, it's a thing that I wrote this past year, how Christina was a difference maker for me in trying to really grasp the control of my life, and not wanting to put her in a situation as she's been in the past of supporting me while I'm in a hospital. But that's really expanded into a few different difference makers, and I'll leave the third as a secret, because it's a good one. Hint: it's myself. So there's the secret. But the another big difference maker for me is Rover. As you're saying with Tuffy, I feel the very same way of how it's more than just a responsibility. It's really kind of this life of, hey, what are they gonna do? Like, who's gonna walk Rover if I'm in the hospital? Who's gonna take care of this thing if I'm gone, or whatever? And you kind of take that responsibility on, kindly blindly at first, but then realizing that, hey, this is like really beneficial for me, because it's not like I want to be out of the hospital so Rover has someone to walk with him. No, like, he's helping me as well. And I something to, I guess, to touch on positives, like something I actively try to do, and is like, just take the headphones off when I'm on a walk with him, and just have a mindful walk. And I have this constant communication with him on our walks. Like, oh yeah, this is nice, right? This is fun, right? And it's tough because most of the time when I need to take a walk is to cool off or to like let thoughts just roll right off my back. And all he wants to do is just sniff grass and whatever. And I'm like, come on, we're walking. But it's really hard when I'm, if I take the earbuds out, and if I look down at him and I see how happy he is and enjoying it, it really kind of teaches me to like just, hey, humble yourself, like relax, enjoy this moment, get outside and like he is having the time of his life on a walk that I'm like pulling him away from sniffing poop. Like it's really like a strenuous exercise sometimes with him when I'm
Yeah.
just pulling him and he's like going against the pull of trying to sniff pee and poop. But to your point, it's like one of these decisions that like, oh yeah, we'll get a dog. Like it'll be really good. It's like, no, oh my God, what an amazing decision. Best decision. And I think a lot of things have been a difference maker for me, but certainly, and as I can hear from you, Rover and Tuffy have the same effect on both of us.
Yeah, it forces growth, for better or for worse. It forces growth. Like it's just there's all the good stuff, there's all the bad stuff, but it forces growth. For everything I was just saying around how you have to plan and you have to have structure, equally has taught me to be like it's one of the best things is just patience and
Yeah.
how you know things you just can't control everything. You can't plan for everything, and some days Tuffy needs she's in a mood. She needs something. Something happens. Whatever it is, right? And it just and what you had planned for the day just goes out the window. So you have to figure it out and be flexible. And I think that's the other side of it. So it's just really growth. Like it's forced me to grow, which is cool.
Yeah. About it. It's actually, I'll be honest, the whole like, um, hey, we got to get back to Rover has been a scapegoat that we love. Because it's like, oh, sorry, I can't hang out till like midnight. Go back. It's a great excuse to get out of larger commitments. Uh, if we're being honest, but
I would, I would say I get that. I would say Kellen and probably maybe the opposite issue of we didn't realize how much like how often we were doing things and going places until we got Tuffy, and then it was just I was like, oh shoot, like we can't really just decide to go here or do this, travel, go away for the weekend. We have to plan what we need to do with Tuffy. We just it's its own bag of responsibilities.
yeah. And I mean, even for those, like, obviously there's such a benefit, for having a dog and having a dog in your life, but just the small interactions you have with one and, you petting them, I think it goes back to the positive that we talked about of just like being in the present moment, enjoying and like the smaller things. Like there's so much chaotic crap to get frustrated with and to get upset with and anxious about. But, like truly like really easy to be in the moment and I think that's been just the biggest takeaway for me is like I'm gonna enjoy like this moment because this is like what we have.
Yeah,
um I wish the guy would be around as long as I'm gonna be around, but he's not, and he's
yeah.
given me everything he has every single day, so I can do the same thing for him.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Actually, one of the things I thought about before this call was, things I've learned was around just being presence and the putting the phone down was something that it's crazy, right? Even if we're playing fetch, there's a
Hmm.
difference. Like Tuffy knows the difference. If I'm just throwing a toy down the hallway while I'm, on my phone texting or scrolling or whatever, or if I am wholeheartedly engaged and there, and all I'm focused on is playing with her. And she did it. She knows the difference. She
Hmm.
plays differently. Her energy's different. She can just tell. And I think that's been really cool to see. I think that's been a good reminder for me too, because I can, like anybody, get sucked into the just scrolling addiction of your phone.
All right, let's I got, unless you have a couple of things to add, I have a nice, fun exercise to finish us off on this shaky call. Once again, I apologize. I hate it to be, happening on your Sunday morning, but at least you got to fill up your cup of Joe in the meantime.
True.
Um, let's do this. Lessons you learned from my dog and a lesson I learned from your dog.
Well,
So I'm locked and loaded if you want me to go, unless you want to go, whatever works.
I well, all right, you go because I have some stuff, but I gotta be honest, it's very close to everything you've already said. So I gotta let me. I'll think of something more specific.
Well, this is pretty on point too, and I'm not going to get into the specifics, but a couple weeks ago we were visiting beautiful Collinswood, greeted by Tuffy at the door, and in the midst, as many people know, chaos breaks loose. Very normal chaos, not a big problem whatsoever. I won't go into any details. But the first 5 minutes were chaos for Tuffy's parents. They were very, hey, we got to handle the whatever situation is now.
You're being very generous. She peed. She peed all over the floor.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
But so here's my point. This sweet girl in this beautiful house that they have a wonderful ledge. Where I believe your mother made right that the cushion.
Yeah. Yeah. The
The
like breakfast. It's like a breakfast nook. Yeah.
It's awesome. Got a nice cushion, custom cushion, pillows. Very very cool spot. Awesome spot, really. So in the midst of the chaos, we got we got Tuffy's parents figuring it out. They're handling it, whatever. Uh, Shockingly enough, Frank, I think you were more frantic than anyone else. But anywho, trying to clean up. Tuffy, after being wiped down or so, just jumps right onto the breakfast nook in this perfect peaceful pose of like, I'm so happy to be here. And so for me, like, I feel like it's so easy to hold a grudge and to get so pissed off at someone. Like, no one ever apologizes anymore. No one owns up to anything. And you're never gonna get an apology from a dog. Maybe you will, like, they'd come over and let you pet them. But like looking at Tuffy, I'm just like, how could you be mad at that dog? Like that dog is perfect, and I think it just teaches a bigger lesson of like it's not worth holding a grudge. Um, Even if your feelings are hurt, it's quite likely that it's never to the intentions of the other person or other being, and I just think I think that's something was so beautiful to see of like you know what? She like peed twice, and I still think she's an angel on this earth. Like, look at her. Like, it's not worth staying mad at someone. And there's the whole, training purpose of a dog of like, hey, if they're not like directly doing it, trying to correct them while they're smiling doesn't do anything. It actually makes it. It doesn't enforce whatever habit you're trying to break. So it's good to sometimes just bury the hatchet and be like, you know what, you're right, you're perfect, we can handle it. What's a couple paper towels?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. You guys were. I think it was like 5 minutes before we even said hi to you. It's just anarchy.
The worst part was I wanted so bad to be like, this happens often. Like, don't worry about it. But like, you guys were in the thick of it. But Dylan's wonderful dog Luna, like, I swear to God, she's pissed on my right foot like 3 times.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
yeah. It's her foot.
I'm being generous. I might have a right foot that's just very friendly to a dog's nostrils. I don't know. But it's also like it's not even like they're just lifting up the leg. It's like out of excitement, and so it's so hard to be, in my eyes, to be mad. But if that was Rover, I would probably be pretty. Come on, this is how we're gonna greet guests. Are you kidding me? So great lesson for me to end on from Tuffy.
Yeah. I like that. Well, all right. I have two for Rover. I think I have the dog one and then the people one.
Nice.
All right, the dog, the people one. You kind of already touched it, and I mean, it is like it's just the classic golden retriever, but it is infectiously like happy. Like he is just there's something to be said, kind of along everything we've been saying, but there's something to be said about Rover. Just no matter the situation, I can't tell you the number of times I've been over your house, and he just wants to be pet, and he'll just I mean he will practically jump on all whatever 75, 80 pounds of it will jump on top of you, just like he just wants to be loved. And like he's just, hey, I'm right here. Like you got me. I'm right here.
Just whenever you're ready.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, I'm right here. And it's great. Like it's just there's something kind of going back to what we were saying. Like that's that goldfish mindset. Like that, we're as people, we're just it's so easy for us to get caught up in our thoughts and all of our issues and problems. And then something so simple as just like, hey, just like rub my neck a little bit. It's just like, and it lights up his world. And that's cool. Like it makes it just kind of like puts the world in perspective, which is nice. That's
That's
my people one. My dog
before
one.
you. I want to add to that
Okay.
just a really funny story. Before you get into the other one, but Rover had a really bad like skin problem. I guess he's allergic to poultry. That's what we came to, and now like just on a strict venison and sweet potato diet. Like
Tough life.
the privileged Rover Garbo.
He's been
um,
faking. I'll tell you what. He's faking this. He's faking this whole chicken diet. This chicken allergy, man. He's just like, sorry, Dad. You can only feed me venison and roasted sweet potatoes.
yeah, it's funny because it's actually really funny because we put him on salmon too, and he's like no, he wouldn't eat it. Like he didn't want to.
Doesn't like seafood.
This guy's pulling our chain. So he did have a very very bad like scratching and tearing off some fur, very agitated skin, and pretty like often, and we has to get allergy shots and whatnot, but. We were trying to like think what is going on, like what is he eating, like what can we do, and like we've been to the vet so many times, they were telling us crap, and finally to the point where we got it like understood that hey, we need to try this like 2 ingredient diet and it'll be. But before that, because we were talking, like one said that he had a tick, not a tick on him, but something, because there was a fox in a field that he walked in, that something could have jumped off the fox and jumped onto him. But they did all the tests to scrape, and there was no like evidence of whatever that was, a tick or maybe it's something more than a tick, a mite, I think it would be. So we're like brainstorming what the heck could this be, and because it went on for months, and I came up with this idea. I was like, listen, Christina, like he likes to be pet a lot, and he also, whenever he goes outside in his big backyard, he rolls around on his back, which is known to be like a sign if dogs are happy, if they're rolling around the back. But I was like, what if the guy's just so itchy that he has to be pet all the time and roll around in the
He actually hates it. He's just so itchy.
and he's just so persistent because he's got to be pet, and it clearly is not the case. But I was being dead serious when I mentioned it. I'm like, it makes complete sense because
He always he's rubbing his face on everyone.
so yeah, that's our dog. That's Rover. Love him. So sorry to interrupt your
No,
two
that's a good one. Yeah, no, he's just itchy. He's just
relevant one.
yeah. It completely negates my whole first point. He's not happy. He's just itchy.
Yeah, right. Poor dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
But sorry. So all right. So my second one, and it's a quick one, but it's for the dogs. It's because Tuffy's hung out with Rover a couple times now, and I think generosity. I think Rover's been very generous with his space and his stuff, and Tuffy, who she goes on these swings of she'll be scared and won't want anything to do with you, to just barking at you to play and swatting at him, and he's 3 times as big as she is. So like he's tremendously generous with his space and his stuff when she's been over. And I think that's cool. I think there's it's something that's, again, some life lessons right there. You gotta be a little generous, be friendly, be willing to share your couch, you know?
Yeah, go to a strict venison and sweet potato diet, and you'll
Yeah,
fool.
maybe that's it. Tuffy can eat all the kibble. He wants the good stuff.
It's actually to add on to that, right? We had prescription food for him, and we went to the doctor and like, hey, like, can we try something else? The prescription, is smaller bags. It's more expensive or whatever. Like, it adds up. It's like $80 a bag. Like, can we just try to figure this out? And it turns out for the amount of food that we got, we're actually spending more on the sweet potato and venison because it's a smaller bag for like $55 than the larger like other one, and it's like all right, whatever. He's gonna be expensive. Come on, whatever. Oh
Just accept it. Just accept it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, buddy. This was a great. Anything to end on? Anything? I mean, it's also. Let me just say this. It is evident that you're doing fantastic. That whatever happened the first call of you calling out, hey, I need to kind of set things straight. Turn off turn on and off when it comes to work and personal life. It seems like it's working. You're glowing. Like I said, the feedback was not great the first.
I think it's the webcam, but I appreciate it. I feel better. Let's put it that
No,
way.
you do have to go back because you're wearing. This is a fitted. Is that a 3/4 zip or a
No,
golf?
it's just like a quarter zip. It's just like an athletic quarter zip shirt.
So you have an athletic fit shirt. Your hair, it probably is the same, well done, but like it looks like you might have put water.
It's just it's
The other,
the natural spring air, you
yeah.
know.
So like it's maybe just a difference of a couple hours of like when you put water on the first one, but you gotta go back to the first one. You'll see that like we filmed at night. The hair might have been like you didn't put water in it just 2 hours ago. Maybe it was 4 hours ago. You were wearing glasses and a loose sweatshirt.
So obviously I looked like I didn't look good.
No, no. I'm just saying you played into the part of the group of the group.
I'm in a really dark spot, AJ. I'm sorry, man. I just you're catching me at a bad time.
Oh God. But all right, brother, man. This was fun. This was a good one. Um, appreciate you coming on, and appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
All right, it should be fun editing. So see everyone later.